Are collaborations between European and Chinese car makers heating up? Which used cars are selling the fastest across Europe? And what does a new position paper have to say about the EU's automotive package? This is the Automotive Update, presented by AutoVista24. Hello and welcome to the Automotive Update. I'm Tom Geggus, the editor of AutoVista24, and I'm here with all your latest automotive news. This week has seen multiple headlines concerning collaborations. Ford and Geely are in partnership talks, according to 8 people familiar with the matter, Reuters has reported. Talks are advancing on 2 fronts. The first is sharing technological developments, including autonomous capabilities. However, manufacturing in Europe is apparently the more advanced talking point. Brands looking to sell battery electric vehicles, or BEVs, made in China are still subject to additional anti-subsidy tariffs of up to 37.6%. Now, the European Commission did recently publish a minimum import price document, which creates a possible route around these duties. If you'd like to learn more about that, there will be a link in the show notes. But car makers may also be looking to produce cars within the EU to avoid these additional import complications and costs. This means deals could be struck with local car makers to use their plants, providing access to the market for new entrants and additional revenue for locally established brands. With the costs of electrification and technological development still a big draw on these companies, this could be hugely beneficial. So, Ford could open its Valencia plant in Spain to Geely. And talking of European and Chinese production tie-ups, Renault is expected to build a small electric vehicle engine with parts from Shanghai eDrive, La Argus reported this week. The entry-level engine will be made at the carmaker site in Cléon in northern France. A new production line is anticipated in early 2027 and is set to churn out up to 120,000 units annually. Now, it is worth noting that Renault already imports Shanghai eDrive components for its Twingo model, according to Reuters. Which used cars are selling quickly across Europe? AutoVista24 journalist Tom Hooker is here to tell us. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Tom. I'm excited to whiz through this one, no pun intended.
You wrote the monthly market update for January, in which you explored some of the fastest selling models for the month. So, first things first, when we say fastest selling, what exactly are we talking about?
Well, when we say fastest selling, we mean which models had the quickest average days to sell. You're probably thinking, what do we mean by average days to sell? Well, that's based on market observations of 2 to 4 year old cars. Results are based on models that accounted for more than 0.5% of the total sales volume in the month. These models must also have had a minimum of 15 observations over all powertrains. And just to note, the markets that we observed were Austria, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, and the UK.
So, the question on everyone's lips, Tom, which used car did sell the fastest across our observed markets in January?
It was the Audi Q3. It took just under 28 days on average in Austria, compared to the overall market average in the country of nearly 70 days. However, it did record a relatively small number of sales in January at just 15 units.
Okay, so then by comparison, which other models really caught your eye?
I think what stood out to me most was a couple of similarities between markets. 2 brands were particularly impressive in January, and both began with a T. Any guesses on which car makers I'm talking about here?
Well, I'm gonna have a rough guess. Could it be Toyota and Tesla?
Spot on. Tesla's Model Y was the fastest selling 2 to 4 year old used car in both the UK and Switzerland during January. This reflects wider trends in both countries where battery electric vehicles were the fastest selling powertrain. Then, looking at Toyota, the Yaris was the fastest selling used car in France, but it was Spain where the brand really shone. 4 of the country's 5 fastest selling used cars carried the Toyota badge, with the Corolla leading the market. This was followed by the Toyota CHR and the Toyota Yaris. The latter had one more top 5 appearance in Germany, where the Volvo XC40 enjoyed the quickest turnover rate. The Dacia Sandero was Italy's fastest selling model.
So could used cars in general start selling more quickly in the year ahead, Tom?
It's a fair question. I think they certainly could for a few different reasons. Broadly speaking, inflation is still elevated across most major European markets. For example, the EU's Consumer Price Index, or CPI for short, ended 2025 close to record levels, according to Trading Economics. Meanwhile, in the UK, the state's Office for National Statistics continues to report an upward trend compared with the 2015 baseline. At the same time, new car list prices are rising across the continent's major automotive markets. So overall, affordability pressure is still very much there. This may make the used car market a preferable option for consumers. Now, if this occurs and supply remains the same, turnover rates could come down significantly.
Now, this is only a very small snapshot of the larger monthly market update, with insights from Tom and experts from across Europe. If you'd like to read this excellent insight, just head to the show notes. I'll leave a link to the article, which features an excellent interactive dashboard containing information about all our observed markets. We are also publishing our insights into major European new car markets this week, including Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and the UK. To get all of these insights sent directly to your inbox, just sign up for our email via the form at the bottom of our homepage. And why not check out our YouTube channel as well? There you'll find our What Is Explainer videos, Launchport insights, and webinar recordings. Our next live webinar will take place on the 1st of April under the title Europe's Auto Forecast 2026. And of course, subscribe to the AutoVista 24 podcast wherever you listen to us. Back in mid-December last year, the European Commission published its automotive package proposal, which could see changes to current emissions targets. This could mean internal combustion engines are sold in the EU after 2035. Now, we did cover this story at the time, so I'll make sure there is a link in the show notes. But this week, Sustainable Mobility Advocacy Group Transport and Environment, otherwise known as T&E, released a position paper on what the proposal could mean. It claims that by moving the 2035 CO2 reduction target from 100% to 90%, there could be a reduction in the battery electric vehicle or BEV share of the market from 100% to 85%. It also believes that the package will introduce greater uncertainty, meaning BEV sales could fall between 50% and 95%, depending on the powertrain strategy used. Meanwhile, adopting an average target between 2030 and 2032 with a supercredit for small BEVs made in Europe is also expected to have a negative impact. T&E forecasts a 10 percentage point reduction in the BEV share in 2030, down to 47%. This all means that the group expects cars to emit an additional 720 million tonnes of CO2 between 2025 and 2050, equivalent to 8 years of emissions from Germany's car fleet. A big thank you to AutoVista 24 journalist Tom Hooker for appearing in this episode, and to web editor James Roberts for co-producing. The music was Better Find a Solution Fast by Richard Ames. Thank you for listening to the AutoVista 24 podcast.